Howdy folks, James Finnerty here with Rewind Electric, and I'm back to do some mail opening as we all like to do here together. I'm afraid I don't have any fancy awesome pedals that I'm aware of, at least coming in. Well, I mean, look, I've got some here. I don't have to be without any entirely. How's that? 4 Rangemasters. DJ Lava Lamp, the R2Rs, British Pal Company Pigeon Effects. Back shots, yeah, something special going on there. So, yeah, alright, I mean, hopefully that'll cover the needs of the masses to have their pedal appeasement. Oh, here, if that doesn't cover your interests, and my robot also doesn't cover your interests, then, something's wrong with you. But I think this will. This is a new in the box King of Tone. Pretty sweet. Got the swag. Got the bag. And got the really cool custom color. Look at that. Red with gold printing on it. So nice. So nice. You don't see modern pedals here that often, other than perhaps a Rangemaster or Fuzz Face clone. But there you are. This came to me from a client and friend, fellow I've known a long time, who has a very, very, very nice Stratocaster that once belonged to me. And I won't get into the hows and whys. We worked that one out, but it's here now, and that's what counts. As is my Topo Chico. Did you guys miss me? I haven't done one of these in a while. Hopefully you found something, I don't know, meaningful to do with your day instead. How about some cool pickups? Check this out. Can we zoom in? We can zoom in. This is a Telecaster pickup, which I showed previously in another mail opening. It has since been rewound. This is kind of a rare bird, so I've not had in my hands one quite like this. This is obviously a flat pole, early Tele pickup. However, these magnets are A3s and not A5s. Now, okay, so Fender used A5s in bridge pickups. Right, yes, they did. When the pole pieces were staggered and chamfered, remember I said this is a flat pole. Non-chamfered, non-staggered, and they are the full width. These are not the narrower ones that you see later, nor are they the ones that would be found in a Tele neck pickup, which are often they're not always, often A5s in my experience. So, kind of unusual to find a flat pole, non-staggered, non-chamfered A5 Tele pickup like that. In my experience, at least, and I've had more than a few, and actually, my experience does sync up with Fred Stewart's thoughts on it, and also the notes in Nacho's Blackguard book and Pinecaster book. And if you are an intelligent and an observative person, such as some of you may be, if you have both of those books, if you have the Pinecaster series of books and the Blackguard book by Nacho, which, by the way, may be my favorite music books at all, not just guitar books, you will notice that some of the guitars by serial number and their pickup specifications are not the same in the two books. So what happened? Were they measured and then measured again at a later time and got a different result? Or did did a column get shifted in a spreadsheet and the wrong data get entered? So, yeah, that's kind of a problem. You look in the book and you say, okay, this Telecaster with this serial number has these pickups. And then you look at the online app for the Pinecaster at the same serial number, and it's different. Or neck measurement, or whatever. So, that's not often the case, but just with a few of them it is. So, yeah. Anyway. This had the original coil still on it when I got it, though it was broken. Absolutely wrecked, destroyed, oxidation on the outside pole pieces, and the wire wrapping around them, making contact at those points. And if you watch my death sentence for all Fender pickups video, you will know what I'm talking about. It just, hundreds of breaks in the wire on the inside. So there was no repairing that, because that's the first several hundred turns of wire. So I did measure the wire though, and it was a 43 gauge wire. So, and there was a lot of it. It was a pretty big coil, especially for 43 gauge. So I, knowing these were A5s, and I measured them in different ways and tested them, and they have, they're very bright, and they've got kind of a scooped mid-range, and they're very loud, and they're very tight sounding. They do have a good strong low end. So what I decided to do for the coil is very likely what was on it to begin with the original coil, was to wind a coil that had a soft and sweet treble, a bit diminished from higher turn counts and the finer wire, and a very strong and wide mid-range peak. So it ended up balancing. If you've got bass treble, here's your EQ. I'm gonna finger draw an EQ. Your A5s might have kind of like a peak here, and then a scooped mid-range, and then a peak here, and then kind of a gradual roll off, and then they fall off. Now I wound a coil that has kind of I guess it comes up, it starts off kind of strong, and it's got a wide peak and a slow taper off. And actually it has kind of a wide peak and a slow taper off. But before it tapers off, it does a little bump, and then it tapers off. And so those two transposed on each other, the scoop and the hump, they ended up with an EQ that's actually very even across the frequency spectrum. It sounds very natural, very broad, even response, excellent dynamics. And because one of the benefits to having those hotter hand-wound coils, by hotter I mean higher turn counts, not higher DCR, is that you get a lot of really rich harmonics that you can bring out. And so even frequency response, wide frequency response, excellent dynamics, and a ton of really rich harmonics. This is one of the best 5, I'll say, Telecaster pickups I've ever heard in my life. No question about it. Woo! And I just broke it. No, I'm just kidding. And at the very first note, put it in a guitar, and right there. That's it. That's all it took. As soon as you hit that, you know it. This is going to be its partner pickup. This was actually sent from the same owner. This is a patent number decal, PAF bobbin, Gibson humbucker from the 1960s. It has also got a rewind. These are chrome pole screws, as you can see, and they also have been cut short. So I don't know if that was done at the factory, or perhaps this pickup was from it could have been from a jazz box and had really long pole screws, because sometimes they did. Even that started with the P90, so that you could raise the pole screws up a lot, because you couldn't raise the whole pickup up back then, and they had a really a severe neck angle and a big difference between the guitar top and the strings. So yeah, anyway, sometimes you find PAFs that have longer screws, and these were cut down. Maybe they were cut down in the factory, maybe they were cut down later. I don't know. I didn't have the original hookup lead on it when it came to me. It was a plastic 4-conductor, so I couldn't tell you if it had the ground soldered to the braid as you would find on a semi-hollow body or a hollow body Gibson. But I wound this at a kind of average to low turn count for a T-top, you know, era patent number decal pickup. And I did use purple plain enamel, new old stock wire. The original wire on here was orange. It wasn't the purple, and it wasn't the pink poly. And it was, let's see, I did use a higher than typical coil offset on this. And that's because it's going to go in the neck position. With this, we got a nice, big, loud, fat sounding telly bridge pickup. I wanted to keep the humbucker fairly clean and clear because it is a humbucker and it's going to be in the neck. So both of those two things make a pickup fatter and louder by default usually. Okay, let's set these aside. Isn't it nice to talk about pickups once in a while? Strangely, I don't do it here a whole lot, though that is my main gig. So these are the boxes that they came in. They're not the boxes that they'll be shipping back in. They're just the boxes I'm setting them down in for the moment. Okay, let's get to the mail after a sip of Topo Chico. We got a number of things here today. Let's start with this one. Go ahead and publish the sender's info there. Let's start with this one because I think this is most related to the last thing we just discussed with those pickups regarding Fender-y stuff, at least. I will be excited if these are what I think they are. Yes, that's exactly what this is. I got a little note. Hey, look at that. That's what I like to see. I'm not going to... It says, I've got another set I could sell for $120. Can send a photo if you're interested. Yeah, I'm interested. I'll be stopping this video early to write the gentleman back who I bought these from. And I will tell you why. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to tell you why. Man, if I tell you why I have these, then you're going to want them. And I don't want you to have them because I want them. Look at that. So I better zoom in on that. What we have here are some 1950s Fender String Master pickups. You'll notice that there's 8 poles because these are from a String Master 8. Okay. This is a similar kind of wire to what came off of that last telly pickup. Although I doubt that's 43. This is probably 42 gauge. Isn't that weird that I can look at this little strip here and tell you what gauge that is? Or this little hair. That is 42 gauge wire. And it's fairly thick for 42 gauge unless that's just really crusty. It's 42. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you what I do with these. I'll let you figure that out or not.